Happy Global Beatles Day. My name's Alan. When I got up this morning and I was looking at some YouTube videos, I saw that today is Global Beatles Day. What a wonderful day. And usually I like to show albums, so I will show one album today that's a tribute to the Beatles. In my estimation, it's one of the best tributes. It was by one of my favorite groups, certainly my favorite band out of New Jersey, the Smithereens. They put out this album that has Meet the Smithereens, which is a recreation in the same key as Meet the Beatles. And then the B-sides are those other songs. So this is a really great album. And so what I thought I would do, the person who wrote most of the songs of the Smithereens was a guy named Pat DiNizio. He was the same age as me. Unfortunately, he passed away quite a few years ago now. But recently, I was able to acquire some sheet music that he owned. It was from the estate of Pat DiNizio. So I'd like to start off by showing you some of the sheet music of the Beatles that I acquired from Pat DiNizio's estate. And then I'll show you more sheet music by the Beatles. Because as I think all of us know, the Beatles apparently did not read music or write music, yet they composed some of the most fantastic music of all time, in my opinion. So first, again, Pat DiNizio owned this. This is the sheet music to I Want to Hold Your Hand, which I think was the first Beatles song I ever heard when I was about 8 years old. And this is another I Want to Hold Your Hand sheet music. Another great song, I'm a Loser. Then he had a couple of, these are like booklets, Beatles music. The Beatles, A Hard Day's Night. They have different songs. This one, this one has more songs than this one. And the Beatle Guitar Beat has some great songs. Cry for a Shadow, which was the only George Harrison, John Lennon composition that you can get on sort of the pre-Beatles albums. Also has, interesting, some songs, again, that they wrote that they did not actually record as the Beatles, like World Without Love and Nobody I Know. This one is called Beatle Book for All Instruments. Some of these books were written for different instruments, some for guitar. This is Beatles Top 40 book. And this is the Beatles Dollar Book of Songs. So these all came from, again, originally the estate of Pat DiNizio. I'll show you some other songs, books first. This is sheet music to Hey Jude. And let's see, I'll leave it at that. This is another version of the Beatles Guitar Beat, which I showed you. And new Beatle Guitar Hits, which is like the previous one. And this features From a Window and Love of the Loved, Hello Little Girl, Like Dreamers Do, and Tip of My Tongue. So these are songs that the Beatles wrote for other people. And a couple other books. I'll leave this one out. This is the Beatle book. And okay, now I'd like to go on to Beatle books that corresponded, except for the first one, the first two, with Beatles albums, in America at least. This is a great songbook called Hit Songs by Lennon and McCartney. And this has songs not only that the Beatles wrote, but songs that they wrote for other people, such as, again, From a Window, I'll Be on My Way, I'll Keep You Satisfied, I'm in Love, Love of the Loved, World Without Love. There you go. And this is a similar book that has songs that John Lennon and Paul McCartney wrote, including those they wrote for other people. Now we'll get into songbooks that correspond, at least with the US album cover. This is the one that goes with the Beatles' Something New. I have a couple that go with A Hard Day's Night. This one's the guitar book, and this one is the vocal edition. Beatles 65. The early Beatles. Some of these were actually from Pat Denizio's estate as well. Beatles 6, it's missing the cover, but I might be getting one with the cover. Beatles Help. Rubber Soul. Beatles Yesterday and Today. Again, Pat Denizio owned this. Beatles Revolver. Pat had this. Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Pat. Magical Mystery Tour. The Beatles, the White Album. Another, the White Album. This one actually has a number like the original albums had numbers on it. And these are songs by the Beatles, songs by George Harrison and Richard Starkey, i.e. Ringo. So this has songs like Don't Pass Me By, While My Guitar Gently Weeps, and Piggies, and Savoy Truffle, and Long, Long Ago. This one's hard to find, the Beatles' Yellow Submarine, and it includes the score, the orchestral score that George Martin wrote. It's on side 2 of the record album. I have a couple different versions of the Let It Be album, piano, vocals, guitar, and this was an earlier version. I saw some songs from Let It Be, and then the Beatles' Abbey Road. Okay, next I'd like to show some early songbooks I got by the Beatles. I got most of these probably in the 1980s. This one's a very interesting one called the Apple Songbook. It actually has, I include it here because it does have some songs that George Harrison wrote and Ringo Starr performed with the Beatles. For Ringo, it has Don't Pass Me By and Octopus's Garden. And for George Harrison, it has, let's see, For You Blue, Here Comes the Sun, I Me Mine, Long, 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 Old Brown Shoe, Piggies, Savoy Truffle, Something, and While My Guitar Gently Weeps. The rest of the songs are either songs that George and Ringo did as solo artists, as well as other artists who recorded for Apple, like Badfinger, Mary Hopkin, Yoko Ono, if you can believe that, Lon and Derek Van Eaton, Billy Preston, Jackie Lomax, and Radha Krishna Temple. Fabulous Beatles, bunch of early songs. Beatles Complete Part 2, a lot of songs. And then Beatlemania, 1963 to 1966. This has about half the songs are by Burt Bacharach and Hal David, the rest are by Lennon and McCartney. Good book. And this is one of the first complete editions I got. The Complete Beatles, Volume 1, thick book, very good. And Volume 2. Then here's a 2-volume set. It's the music of Paul McCartney. So this is 1963 to 73. So it has songs he wrote with the Beatles as well as some later solo stuff after the Beatles broke up. And this is Volume 2, which is all post-Beatles. Now, I'll get into, I'll just do the complete sheet music first. So I have, if you play piano or of course any instrument, you can read music. This is probably the best place to go because the Beatles music in these books is really transcribed well in the original keys that all the songs that the Beatles performed. A lot of those early books that came out in the 60s, the sheet music was written in different keys. So if you tried to play along with the record to that music, it would sound completely different. The guy who, I forget his name, who did these transcriptions sat down, did it independently on his own, did a great job. So this is published by Hal Leonard. So this has the first 4 albums, and they're tied to the albums that came out in the UK, not the US. So this is called the first 4 albums. It has Please Please Me with the Beatles, A Hard Day's Night, and Beatles for Sale. Then it has the next 3 albums. You have Help, Rubber Soul, and Revolver. And of course you have Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. This next one, it's split up a little differently. You have Yellow Submarine and the White Album, which is a 2-record set. And here you get sort of out of sequence Magical Mystery Tour, which of course came out before the White Album, Let It Be, and Abbey Road. But then there are songs, because this is tied to the British record series, that did not appear on the albums. So that's why if you get this book, you have the Beatles Past Masters, Volume 1 and Volume 2. So songs like Bad Boy, She Loves You, I Want to Hold Your Hand, Volume 1 and Volume 2, things like The Ballad of John and Yoko, Day Tripper, Old Brown Shoe, Paperback Writer, and the rest. Now I'd like to get into, this is the final part of this video, transcriptions. So if you want to actually play the music as the Beatles played it, this is a good book if you play piano, keyboards, organ. It's called the Beatles Keyboard Book, and it has, transcriptions of what's actually appeared on the album. So things like Come Together, A Day in the Life, Good Day Sunshine, Lady Madonna, Your Mother Should Know. Really good album. Now, this I got, again, in the 1980s. It's still around. For a long time, this was really the only book you could get if you really wanted transcriptions of the Beatles music. It has all the songs they wrote. It's fantastic. It has not just the guitar parts, but basically all the instrumentation. Highly recommended. And now I'll show you the books that transcribe the guitar parts for the Beatles albums. I have all of them except for one. This is Please Please Me, Meet the Beatles, Beatles for Sale, I Don't Have a Hard Day's Night, Beatles Help, Beatles Rubber Soul, Beatles Revolver, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, Magical Mystery Tour, Book 1 and Book 2 for the 2-record set of the Beatles, the White Album, Let It Be. I put Let It Be here because this was recorded in, January 69, even if it came out around May 1970. And then I put Abbey Road as the last album. And I also have Real Love and Free as a Bird. I don't think I have, what was the one that came out? Now and Then. I need to get the sheet music for Now and Then. This is the Beatles number 1. Again, guitar parts. It corresponds to the album that came out. We also have the Beatles live at the BBC. This has the guitar parts. Now, even though I don't have, as I said, A Hard Day's Night transcribed, I do have this set, which corresponds with the 2 CDs that came out of the Beatles Capitol albums, Volume 1 and Volume 2. And so you can find transcriptions, guitar parts for the Hard Day's Night songs on here. And then lastly, I have a bunch of, these are booklets. Some of them have CDs with them if you want to play along with the Beatles. So that's the Beatles Hits. Has some great songs by Wolf Marshall. Another one by Wolf Marshall was one of the first transcribers for rock guitar. He started doing this way back in the 80s, as I recall. Of course, the Beatles book, complete Beatles transcriptions. This has Come Together, I Got to Get You Into My Life, I Saw Her Standing There, In My Life, Let It Be, Strawberry Fields Forever, and Ticket to Ride. This is the Beatles guitar Again, some of these books, they're uneven, but they're okay if you can find it and you're just getting started. This is the Beatles rock score 1 and 2. And lastly, this is the best of the Beatles for trumpet. So anyway, thanks for watching. I'm curious if any of you also collect Beatles songbooks. Beatles are, I guess, my favorite all-time group, like many of you. So once again, happy 2026 Global Beatles Day. And I hope you have a great day listening to Beatles music and the rest of the year. Take care.